Welcome to Movie Explain AD. The film begins by showing a place named Shookum Hills. Mining was going on at that time. After completing the mining work, the laborers returned home as usual. A man among them is shown named Shutman along with his son. His son was talking about a coworker. A coworker fell while working, but now he was terminated from the job. Shutman says to his son, "We will talk later on this topic," and then leaves. His son returns to the mine for bringing his tools, but suddenly, he shouts and Shutman moves to his son. Here the scene cuts, then the story shifts a year later where a girl named Arian is shown. She was collecting information about Shookum Hills from different articles. Arian likes adventures. There was a group of 4 people who had to travel to Shookum Hills, and one of them was named Darren. There were Darren's friends with him the next day. Arian is shown moving for Shookum Hills along with the team. Darren asks Arian how many people have come to find Shookum Hills since now. Darren was a scientist, but Arian says, "I can't tell you this as I don't reveal anything of a client to another client, and this is my rule." Actually, Shookum Hills are not mentioned in any map after 1970, and none know what has happened to the population of the Shookum Hills. Darren joins them to find out what happened in Shookum Hills. Moving forward, Arian stops at a shop for taking some supplies, then she asks about the way to Shookum Hills from the owner. The owner says, "I didn't hear about this place before." Arian insists him to tell the way, but then owner asks her to return to the place from where she came. Arian comes out of the shop after listening to the owner. After it, the owner tells someone on walkie-talkie that there is a trouble. Later, Arian moves forward with her team, but a car starts following her on the way, but its speed becomes slow while reaching at a place. Arian realizes the car is following them. She reaches a place while distracting the car, and they find the electric fences in the mid of the forest. Darren's friend is bothered by the fences because who would put fences in the middle of the forest? Everyone ignores him, and they move forward while crossing the fence. The night appears and they put a camp in the forest near a lake. They were discussing Shookum Hills. During the discussion, Darren tells that actually a sinkhole was made in the Shookum Hills and maybe a poisonous gas appeared from it that became the reason to destroy that place. We discover from their conversation they don't know what actually happened in the Shookum Hills. Darren's friend doesn't agree with that sinkhole logic and tells them about the Russian sinkhole. The huge sinkhole in Russia was made in Siberia, and it was deep about 1 mile. The strange voices were heard from the borehole when a microphone was thrown in it. It was a terrible voice like someone is shouting. Then America decided to make that huge hole in Shookum Hills, seeing Russia. Darren considers this useless, that's why they argue about it. Darren's friend was attempting to persuade him that natural disaster wasn't the cause of the destruction of Shookum Hills. The reason is something else about which we don't know anything. Darren wasn't ready to hear him, and then 3 people are shown in the forest. The girl was named Shelby, and there were her 2 companions with her. They have come here to repair the fence wire of a hole. An animal has broken the wire, and they were repairing the wire. Meanwhile, Shutman arrives there to see the whole situation. Shelby asks her companion to check all the fences nearby. An animal attacks him from the fence when he goes to check the fence. Here this scene cuts. Arian is shown the next day moving forward with her team. There they find the huge sinkhole of Shookum Hills. There were a lot of electric fences on it. They removed the fences and put a scanner along with the camera in the sinkhole. Darren's friend was going over it when he heard a loud voice. Due to it, he removes his headphone and makes everyone hear that voice. During this, He mistakenly got stuck in the camera rope, then suddenly, someone drags him into the sinkhole. Meanwhile, Arian and one of Darren's friends move down the sinkhole to save him, but they didn't find him after searching him for a long time. The scene upside the sinkhole is shown where a stranger arrives and becomes furious to see the sinkhole. He shows them a gun while warning them. He closes the sinkhole while cutting the rope, but Darren and his friend try to make him understand that their team members are inside. The stranger doesn't listen to them, and then Darren's friend makes him faint while attacking him. Arian sees the cut rope and understands there is something wrong. She immediately comes upside with Darren's friend. Later, they move from there while taking the car of the stranger and leaving him there. Darren's friend was furious and says, "This happened because of you. This is your fault because you bring us here for the sake of some fundings." We will know later about the funding about which his friend was talking. Moving at a distance, their car got stuck in a ditch, but Arian says we should keep on moving because we have to reach near the fence before the evening appears. The scene shifts to the stranger, who comes into his senses and informs his team about the situation. Meanwhile, the stranger was taken by a creature. On another side, it is shown that the night has appeared. They were moving forward, but suddenly, they hear the shout of a creature. They move forward with the help of night vision while turning off their flashlights. Suddenly, the creature attacks them and takes one of Darren's friends. Arian, Darren and his friend move forward while escaping from it. Luckily, they find a truck there. Now they are shown at Shutman's base. Shutman comes in front of them and starts telling them about him. "I was the co-founder of the mining company, but now I work for security and maintenance." Then Arian asks them what is going on here. Shutman says everyone has his own beliefs and point of view. Someone considers the hole a well of hell and someone considers it a normal ditch. Actually, some strange creatures live in that sinkhole. Shelby asks, "Where is the sinkhole that is opened?" Shelby was asking this because Arian said she can take them there. Shutman orders to close all the sinkholes. They leave from there while making a team. Meanwhile, Shelby's companion informs her via walkie-talkie that the creatures are present everywhere. As a result, you should refrain from moving from there. Shelby's companion is shown sacrificing his life so everyone will move forward. The creatures were distracted and they hide in a house while getting a chance. Shelby gives them information about the creatures. Actually, the creatures attracts toward noise. They have a strange tentacle in their hands that paralyzes people. During this, the creatures attack them and they reach a tunnel for escaping. Shelby also separates from them to distract the creatures. Now Arian, Darren and his companion move forward, but they again face the creatures after a short time. Their friend tries to blast them with the help of a grenade. The creature throws the grenade down due to it, and the grenade blasts there. Their companion becomes injured because of the blast and the creature takes him with it while paralyzing him. Now Arian and Darren were left. They were the survivors, but seeing his companions dying one by one, Darren sits there. He blames himself for all this and tells Arian that a private company wanted this mine of Shookum Hills and the company hired me for this. After it, we will get a lot of money, means they have come here for money. Later, Arian is shown moving forward alone, but she promises Darren that she will be back to take you from here. Then the scene shifts to Shutman. He was standing near the fence with his team and the creatures were trying to come to that side. Seeing it, Shutman orders to open fire on those creatures. Later, the scene shifts to Arian, who was moving forward while escaping. She hides there when she hears the voice of the creature, but then after some time she comes out while feeling the creature has left. Suddenly, the creature attacks her and takes her with it. Arian finds herself on a boat when she awakes in the next scene. She sees the creature along with Shelby's body, and it was looking terrible. The creature was taking the boat towards its location. Reaching its location, Arian meets Darren and his friend. Arian asks while seeing the creature's queen, "What is this thing?" Darren's friend tells her this is rare species of creature, and they pollinate in the same way that ants and bees do. Darren's friend was telling her all this. Meanwhile, a creature arrives and holds him. It takes him to its queen, and that creature's queen eats it alive. Later, the creature takes Arian to the queen, but before the queen could eat Arian, she puts a grenade in its mouth, getting a chance. She leaves with Darren immediately. They reached beneath the sinkhole, and it was the hole whose fence they had opened. They climb up with the help of the rope, but many creatures gather, and a creature soon climbs up the rope to attack them. Darren cuts the rope while seeing this trouble to save Arian while sacrificing himself. Meanwhile, a man is shown cutting the rope from upside, but Shutman arrives at the right time and pulls Arian upside. Few creatures appear from the sinkhole, but they end them while burning them. Later, the hole was closed. Then Shutman asks Arian what happened to her team. Where they are? Arian tells, being depressed, that the members of my team are ended by the creatures. Luckily, I am lone survivor. After it, Shutman is shown taking Arian in his car and tells her that the creature has taken his son. Shutman's son, whom we saw at the start of the movie. He says, I am fighting with the creatures after the incident to take revenge on my son's death. Arian says you should inform people about those creatures. Shutman says the people in the world are not ready yet to know about those creatures. Then he offers Arian to stay here to fight with those creatures. Firstly, Arian refuses this and gets off the car. However, after a short time, she sits in the car, takes a rope, and says, "We will need this on the way. That's why I have brought this." Now it means Arian has accepted his offer. She agreed to work with him. After it, they continue their journey. The movie concludes with this scene. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.